Hi everyone, my name is Valerie Sabala. I am the Executive Director of the Syria Institute. A few weeks ago, we tried something new and we solicited some of your questions online. We wanted to use these to help inform our own work and our research agenda so that we can do work that answers your questions. But we also want to try and directly answer them here in this new initiative. So we're going to be holding a live Q&A series. Bear with us. This is our first video. It's a bit of an experiment. Our plan right now is to answer the questions that we received in short, small videos, doing one or two at a time. They will be live streamed here on Facebook, and we'll also then post them afterwards on our YouTube channel so that you can refer to them anytime you want. If you are the one who asked this question and you asked it on Facebook, we will tag you so you know that your question's been answered and you can watch the video. If you asked privately in an email, we won't tag you, but we'll try and give you a shout out, a quick message back to let you know. And we will be sharing any links to other resources or organizations that we mention in the videos below in the comments. We'll try and make the TSI comment the first comment on our page. So you all asked some tough questions, and the answers are not all going to be straightforward. So we need to give a little caveat that the Syria Institute is an independent research institute, and we really try and do data-driven reports and put out information that's really based on facts that are transparent and verifiable, because we feel that's a real niche, a real gap in the information out there for TSI. We know that some other organizations do a lot more kind of op-ed, analytical pieces. We do analysis, but higher level think pieces instead of this data-driven research. So our answers to these questions are necessarily going to go beyond the realm of explaining what is and just relying on our research and into the realm of prediction and maybe opinion based on the questions that were answered. So we're going to try and be really transparent about that and note when we are giving an opinion. And instead of something that's, an expert opinion, but instead of something that's based directly on our research or our knowledge of the current situation. And the caveat is that the Syria Institute does not take specific policy positions or advocate for any specific course of action. This is a matter of organizational policy and aligns with our values to really maintain credibility as an independent research institute. So those are the caveats, and for this first video, we're going to take maybe the softball question, because it gives us a chance to explain a little bit more about TSI and the work that we do. The first question we're going to answer is from Lindsay Christensen, and she asked, what can be done to help the people in Syria? I see news about chemical attacks and suffering children, but I don't know what I could do to change or help. So my response that I always give people is you really need to stay informed. It's not always the most pleasant topic, but it's so important because the things that are happening to real people today. And if no one cares, it's never going to get any better. And second, you need to be vocal. And I think a lot of people are afraid to post things online, to share information, to talk with friends and family about Syria because it can get political, and it is politicized, but it's important. It's important that your people around you know that this is something that you care about. It's important that your elected representatives know that it's something that you care about. And it's important to people in Syria to know that Americans and whoever else might be watching knows about and cares about what's happening to them. So my first more specific answer to the question of what you can do to help, of course, is to support the Syria Institute. We are a nonprofit. We are a small organization. We're really dedicated to filling those information gaps that I talked about earlier. We're young. We were founded just a year and a half ago, and we're just completely focused on putting out responsible, data-driven reports and information. I personally think this is incredibly critical, or I wouldn't be doing it. Syria is complex. There's a lot of confusing messaging out there. Some of it's intentional by actors who are parties to the conflict and want to cover up their crimes in most cases. And so especially in the case of Syria, information is powerful. Um, our work so far in our first year and a half has supported the efforts of humanitarian organizations on the ground. It's helped inform and change policy, and it's helped spreading awareness and understanding amongst the general public. And we try and put out information products that address all three of these. I'll give you two just quick examples about our policy impact. Our Seed Watch project, the statistics and consistent reporting that we do, has actually changed the way that UN OCHA approaches the besieged areas. It's helped put on the pressure that was needed to get them to acknowledge all these besieged areas that they had not covered in their monitoring and reporting, such as a lot of eastern Ghouta wasn't considered besieged, even though it had been under siege. And then our recent report on No Return to Homes on demographic engineering, the conclusions of that and the language used in that were actually incorporated into the EU's recently released Syria strategy moving forward. So we've seen, and we get feedback, there's a real hunger for this among governments and foreign leaders and international organizations. And so we feel really good about this impact, but we can do more. We need support. We're independent, which means not well funded. I think it's a euphemism for. And, we need your support. I just want to mention one more critical component of our work. We could not do what we do without our constant contacts with Syrians on the ground. In that sense, we may not be like a lot of other think tanks around here. Also, all of our projects are done in large part because we speak with people in the areas that we're studying. That's not the only source that we use, but we maintain a really large network, and we're talking with dozens of people on the ground every single day. And we thank them, and we also feel their appreciation, and it means the world to us to know that what we're doing is touching people's lives, because it's showing that there are people around the world who care. And so we are a research institute with a real heart and a real purpose-driven mission. Humanitarian efforts, humanitarian organizations are incredibly important. I would never tell anyone not to donate to them, and I encourage it. But even in the best of circumstances, they cannot address the root of the suffering. They're not designed to. They're not going to end the conflict. So it's important to have humanitarian work. It impacts the lives of people on the ground. But it's also important to support information efforts like our own, because we want to ultimately make an impact in bringing this conflict to an end so that there doesn't have to be a massive humanitarian relief, or we don't see more refugees. No one wants to be a refugee. That being said, as I mentioned, I'm not discouraging people from supporting to humanitarian organizations. There are so many doing a great job on the ground. I personally think that the most effective path to donate, if you're looking for a humanitarian cause in Syria, is small local organizations or organizations run by Syrian expats that are focused just on Syria and not as opposed to bigger global relief groups. Sorry, bigger global relief groups, you're great too. But in my experience, these organizations have much more direct contact with and ties to the ground, and the aid that you give them really has a direct impact. So some of the groups that come to the top of my mind are groups like the Syrian American Medical Society, Syria Relief and Development, Karam Foundation, Jusur, and of course the White Helmets everyone's heard of. We will include links to all of these organizations and our own donate page and our YouTube channel in the comments section after this video is posted. And I encourage everyone out there to make donating to these organizations and TSI a regular habit. It really does help. 7 years in, there's fatigue out there in all of the communities, and the conflict isn't over yet, so we can't get fatigued. We have to do more. So that was our first video. Thank you all so much, and we will look forward to doing more coming soon, so stay tuned for that.